Hi, welcome back to the Nuance Needed Substack, and welcome back to Pep Talks with Sam. So, what I want to talk to you about today isn't necessarily some laid out thing to teach you these tips and tricks and concepts, but I think more of the philosophical, if you will, and that is the idea of time. And it's a big question that I have been sitting with myself, which is, how do I want to spend my time? And the reason that question has come up is the reminder that time is finite. It's finite for all of us. Things are always changing. Life always feels different. It always feels like things happen too fast. In the way the world is set up today, it feels harder to savor special moments. It feels like we're always worried about documenting them instead of worried about being present in them. And that is something that I've recognized for myself. And part of this too, I think, is some residual secondhand trauma, if you will, from my work at the hospital, where I watched people die. It was quite literally my job at times to, well, not at times, it was part of my job, depending on the situation, to be there with family. And I have watched numerous people leave this earth. And I'm still very reflective about it. I'm still very reflective of the experience. And it just brings up this idea of, especially with a lot of situations that I would see, which is tragic accidents, people getting sick suddenly, cardiac arrest, right? It just happens overnight. People aren't necessarily prepared. And people who thought they had more time. And to realize how precious it is to have time, to realize how precious it is to still be here. And I've been really sitting with that question, and it weighed on me a lot when I thought of how I wanted to take my vacation time. And I decided to do, some really big things and make some really big memories because I realized my time was right now. And as a single person, I sometimes have put a lot of pressure on myself to have this list of things that I want to do when my man shows up, and things wherever he is, and things that I want to do once I'm with someone. And what I realized is I don't want to live my life like that. I don't want to live my life waiting for some future version that may or may not happen. And I want to live my life for right now. And I want to do things that matter to me and bring me joy and make me excited and make me feel like I'm being fulfilled. Now, this is a huge, broad swath topic, right? And every single one of you listening, you each have different situations. Life has given you different circumstances, and you're all in different places right now. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is that I invite you to take some time to be reflective of that, to be reflective of where you're at in life, what you're capable of right now, what your energy level is, what you do have time for, and assess, are you living up to what values you have? Are you living up to what feels important to you? Do you feel like you are making enough time for the things that matter to you? And I think it's a question we all need to be reminded of, because as uncomfortable as it is, right? Nobody wants to think about it. Nobody wants to think about the fact that there's a time limit on this. It's heavy, and it invites a lot of complicated feelings. However, what I argue is that avoiding some of those feelings is the very thing that leads to regret, that leads to frustration, that leads to not feeling fulfilled, that leads to feeling unhappy. Because we're not actually stopping to check in with ourselves and say, am I living a bold life? Am I living a life that's for me? Now, again, I understand we all have different circumstances, and we all have responsibilities, and we all have things that maybe we cannot change right now. Yet around that, what are you doing to give your life meaning right now? With the time that you have, how are you carving out joy? How are you carving out memories? How are you highlighting what is important to you? How often are you putting this little brick down, i.e. the phone, and getting out and living your life and experiencing things for real? How often are you laughing with people? How often are you building community? How often are you just allowing yourself moments of genuine rest, to have some hobbies, to do something just for the sake of doing it? And to get even more specific, what does time mean to you? What are you wanting from your own life? And no. I'm not talking about what you've always said you've wanted or what people have told you in your life is important. Family members, grandparents, parents, mentors, right? All of them give us excellent advice. We love their insight. But it's also okay if what we want doesn't align with what they wanted or what they think we should want. And if you're struggling with kind of asserting that level of confidence, I want to build you up to do that. It's okay. You get to want different things from the people in your life. You can want different things from your friends, meaning like compared to your friends and what they're doing. Nothing has to look the same. And I think it's so easy for us to get caught up in the comparison game as well, courtesy of social media, root of all evil, that we feel like, oh, well, actually, what I should be doing is this. Because the way this person portrays their life, it seems that they don't have any problems. And it begins to cloud the authenticity of what it is that's our vision for our life. And so I just want to invite you to spend some time with that. Because I can remember there were differences. If I look back at certain patients that I worked with at the hospital, there were differences in the level of grief some people had around their family members who had died. There were people that had lived life really boldly and independently and had done everything that they had wanted to do, or as much as they could have. And they were happy. And then there were a lot of situations where people, I would speak with their family members and they would be like, oh, there were so many things that they had wanted to do, but they never made time for. These aren't like cheesy stories that I'm pulling out of a hat. Like, this is real. And yes, I'm keeping it vague, right, for people's privacy, but people are very, very reflective when it comes to watching someone that they love die, or for me, being a part of death on a professional level. And so I'm really getting really clear on my time and what I want to be doing and what matters to me and what motivates me and makes me feel a sense of purpose. And not going to lie, being here talking with you is a huge sense of purpose for me. There's a lot of people that will bring up how much time a lot of this takes, or, people will be like, well, do you think it's worth it? Yeah, because I really like doing this. And I like gassing you up. I like knowing that maybe something I say motivates you to do something big and bold, something that you've been scared to do, something that you've been wanting to do, but didn't feel that you had the confidence to do it. And that's where I feel passion and purpose and meaning. And that's been a recent development. I've known that for a long time, but I think I didn't embrace it for a while. I kind of saw it as something like, well, I'm good at it, so I guess I should do it. And what I realized is, no, it's actually really cool that some of you trust me and want to know what I have to say. And I don't take that lightly. And it's why I invest my time in it. And it's why it matters to me. And also, traveling is important to me, and experiences and seeing things and doing things and building things. I like doing that. Not only on building a podcast and a brand level, but also I like building Legos. I like doing that at night after a long day of work. That's something that's really relaxing to me. So, with all of this said, as has been said 900 million times before, life is short. And that's neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It's just a hard, cold truth. And so I invite you to spend some time thinking of, especially we're in July, it's kind of giving middle of the year vibes. Well, it is the middle of the year, but Anyway, we're a little past the middle of the year, but whatever. It's the middle of the year. So with that said, it's this last half of the year, last half of summer. What do you want to do that you haven't done yet? What was on your to-do list to get done that you haven't done yet? What was something fun that you were really looking forward to that you haven't had the chance to do yet? What do you want to make time for? What is it that you're not making time for? Are there hard conversations you want to have? Do you want to reconcile with someone? Is there a relationship that maybe isn't working anymore and it's taking too much time? Big questions. But the only way to make progress on them is to start sitting with them. Because your life has value. Your life has meaning. And the things that matter to you matter. You don't have to prove why they matter. They just do. Okay? With that said, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you always. And I will see you next week.